George Hogg is clearly so iconic in China, but you ask the average person on the street in Harpenden who is George Hogg, and they won't know who he is. And so we decided that we needed to educate the people here in the UK and also in Harpenden about what George Hogg did and achieved in China through some very, very difficult years.
I think it's interesting. I mean, I was looking a little bit around George Hogg and his life and so forth at school, and we have a motto at St George's School, which is in Latin is levavi oculos, which means lift up your eyes, and I think George was one of those pupils who very much lifted up his eyes. He went on to university to explore, I think, some new things, and then something called him to go to China. And I think our students nowadays have an example of many, many different students who have done things, but George was one particular person who I know I feel lifted up his eyes as a student to look more broadly and widely around the international community. And I think students nowadays can look at that as a great example of looking more broadly than just your immediate environment.
It was 1938. George Hogg, a British Oxford graduate, set out to travel the world. In China, he found a country at war.
When George Hogg arrived in Shanghai in 1938, there had been a terrible battle fought between the Japanese.
He was a hero, a forgotten story.
When you think back to George's life, he was really a wise friend and noble friend of China.
The story of George Hogg in China.